Alrighty. I'm gonna talk to you about children who has parents. They think that they are just really rowdy, or is it really discipline? So I have a couple of parents, like two sets of parents. One parent, let's talk about this one parent. I can talk about the other parent later. Child is like 3 years old and it's like, he's so rowdy, he's this, he's that. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing to discipline your child? Like, not as far as like chastisement of like whooping or something like that, but more of, creating a structure, making sure that the child is, because you can't just always say, okay, this child is autism or this child has ADHD. If you haven't put in rules, like really set rules, stuck to those plans for at least a little bit of time so the child can have expectations. But if you do not, and you just really get, frustrated, you haven't really given it time, and so of course, child's 3 years old. Of course, I think it's 3 or 4, sorry. And you can't, really put a patient on anything at 4. We did come up with something buspirone, which, has evidence-based practice on that. Possibly, allowing the child to have like 2.5 milligrams and see if that kind of helps to kind of relax and reduce anxiety and stuff and kind of calm them down. But also too, the parent has to also do their due diligence, get them into some type of program that can help with structure, help them with structure, and also, talk with the primary care, not primary care, but pediatrician about, the ways that you can create structure, because at least they've had a little bit more experience, not in having children. She was like, well, none of my other children have had this, and I have experience with children. I was like, I get it, but you haven't had experience with this child. And this child might be a tad bit different. It could be autistic, but, you have to get them tested. And of course, I'm not doing the testing. And also too, you can't just blame everything on autism and ADHD, because even if you do, you have to create the routine. So why don't you just go ahead and start then? So this also goes along with my other patient whose family kind of divorced, the mom and dad divorced, and they're not really having a consistent plan, in place, or structure base in place. And they're kind of letting the child kind of rule what they do. And I'm like, you can't do that. Kids will walk all over you. You can't do that. You have to kind of know that, I'm not going to say like who's the boss, but who's the boss. You have to let them know that you're in charge. This is what's right. This is what's not right. This is what happens when you do wrong. There is a consequence, whether it's timeout, whether it's, taking away something for a certain amount of time, whether it's, something where that it will, the child will be like, I'm not going to do this again. So that's my week. Yeah. Or one person of the week. So yeah.